Nice. Brothers ready?
Right. Yeah, I usually have my camera facing the screen so I can see it, but I think this one takes a better, better image when it's this way. Almost comparable to your Apple image.
Yeah. I'll give me a water before we get started. I'm thirsty.
Yeah.
I just want to make sure. That's good.
I just don't have it. Where's the old man? No, your father.
All right, let's go.
Ready? All right, shalom, shalom. With the Hebrew Israelites out here again, prophesy the downfall of America, Babylon the Great. Bring out this truth to you so-called Negroes, so-called Hispanics, and you so-called Native Americans who are the seed of Israel. Right? Before we begin, we want to give all praise, honor, and glory to
Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Makakodash.
and double honors to the apostles and to the elders of the great millstone, from which you learned is true. Peace, blessings to the house of David, doing his work in all righteousness, truth, and sincerity. We want to say shalom to the hopeful elect. Shalom. Right, brother. We'll get right into it. Go ahead and start off from the book of Revelation. Let's start at the top. 17:1.
This is Revelation 17:1, and it reads, "And there came one of the seven angels which had the seven vials, and talked with me, saying unto me, Come hither, I will shew thee the judgment of the great whore that sitteth upon many waters."
Okay, first was that seven, okay, which means what? Completion. Okay, the final judgment of this great whore, okay, that sits upon many waters. Jump down to verse 15. We're going to explain, what that waters means.
This is Revelation 17:15, and it reads, "And he saith unto me, The waters which thou sawest, where the whore sitteth, are peoples and multitude and nations and tongues."
So that's a clue there. What's that tell you? There's going to be a lot of different what? Run that back to people, nations, and tongues.
And he saith unto me, The waters which thou sawest, where the whore sitteth, are peoples and multitudes
Right.
and nations and tongues.
Now, what do you see here in AK America? Okay, you see a lot of different variety of what nations, peoples, okay, and tongues. Okay, they call this what the great melting pot. Okay, so that that's what's going into. We'll go back to the first verse.
Start one again.
Yeah, let's start.
Revelation 17:1, and it reads, "And there came one of the seven angels which had the seven vials, and talked with me, saying unto me, Come hither, I will show unto thee the judgment of the great whore that sitteth upon many waters."
Right, the judgment of the great whore. Okay, and that judgment is going to be what? The destruction of America, Babylon the Great.
"With whom the kings of the earth have committed fornication, and the inhabitants of the earth have been made drunk with the wine of her fornication."
Right, made drunk with the wine of her fornication. Grab a quick brother, Jeremiah 51:7. See, they've been drunk in what? Philosophies, okay, the doctrines, okay, which what is that? The democracy, okay, which promotes what? Feminism. Promotes what? They want you to join the Alphabet Club, okay? You'll become a Decepticon and an Autobot, okay? That's what they want, okay? That's what they push upon all these nations.
This is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 51, verse 7, and it reads, "Babylon hath been a golden cup in the Lord's hand,
See?
that made all the earth drunken." the nations have drunken of her wine,
Right.
therefore the nations are mad.
See, they're drunken on that wine, and you see that right now with Africa, man. They're bucking up against the American way, okay, the way of the West. Yeah, you know, the Western Hemisphere. Okay, they don't want to take on those customs. Okay, they're rejecting it. They're rejecting. They don't want it. They're mad. Okay, and then you got what? You got Putin coming out against it. Okay, you know, pretty much saying that, you know, this place is just it's a place of filth, man. Okay, they don't want all those disgusting, okay, abominational acts, man. It says that in their fornication they go into what? Spiritual adultery. Why? Because they worship anything and everything here. Okay, you can worship a damn rock, a tree. You can marry a tree. You can marry your pet. Yeah, it's disgusting.
And if I may, those African nations are linking up now with the Brexit nations,
Right?
Because they're going to be a guard unto them, you know. But continuing on, 17:3. So he carried me away in the spirit into the wilderness, and I saw a woman sit upon a scarlet-colored beast, full of the names of blasphemy.
See, the names of blasphemy. Why? Because right here you got here what the biggest blasphemy is saying what? The Father and the Son, they're so-called white men, okay? And they allow everything. Anything goes here in America, Babylon the Great. You can do anything. They got that, what, who's our will spirit. You can obey your thirst. You know, what else? You know, that's all matters.
Having 7 heads and 10 horns.
See, 7 heads and 10 horns. And the 10 horns, they represent the EU. Okay, at that time, it began with 10, but I believe that there's about 30 now. Okay? If you go into the 7 heads, going into what? The basically it's speaking about the Edomite rulerships. Okay? If you get what Germanian Major, Germanian Minor, you had the Greeks, the Romans, the French, the Spanish, and the British. Okay?
And the woman was arrayed in purple and scarlet color.
Right. And that going into what her costume is. Okay? Because if you go on to we're not going to go to the 18th chapter, it tells you how all these nations, what do they come here to do? They come here to make money, to get rich. Keep going.
And decked with gold and precious stones and pearls.
Right. From the outside looking in, okay, you can even Google it. They say that what? They did, yeah. Go ahead, bro, speak on it.
Yeah, they say the streets was paved with gold.
Right.
You know?
Right. And then they get here, what do they see? A dump. Everything falling apart. Okay?
Third world country. Having a golden cup in her hand,
Right.
full of abominations and filthiness of her fornication.
Right, just going back to everything they push, man. You know, the democracy they push upon the other nations, and again, which leads to feminism. You know, they want to join the Alphabet Club. Okay, that all ties into it.
Witchcraft.
The witchcraft, all that. Yep.
And upon her forehead was a name written, Mystery, Babylon the Great.
Right, Mystery Babylon the Great. You know, a lot of people read the scriptures. Oh, that's talking about the Vatican. Well, that's speaking about this or that. No, it's speaking about here. This is the great whore, man. Right here, where we're at in America, Babylon the Great.
Where else could it be?
Yeah.
It wouldn't make sense for it to be anywhere else. This is the chief of nations. Border of wickedness is very obvious.
Right.
This is the place where all the media and culture is coming out of. The whole world tries to emulate.
Right. And there's plenty of ways to prove it. When you go to Jeremiah, it talks about come up against the land of Maritime. We're not going to get to, which means what? Double rebellion. Okay, you go into the root word, it's mod, okay, which in the Latin, okay, the Spanish is what? Amargo, which means bitterness. And this is a place of bitterness here. Okay, what was the land of America? What was it named after? Amerigo Vespucci. So you know, there's plenty of ways, but we're gonna prove that America, Babylon the Great, okay, this is the great whore, and this is that woman.
The mother of harlots and abomination.
The mother of harlots and abomination. Somebody get a name, get the 3rd chapter, I believe around the 3rd or 4th verse. Yeah. Real quick. Yeah, because this is that great whore, man. Mother of all harlots. But why? Because now this is speaking about Nineveh, but see, America is that great horde which embodies all the wicked kingdoms that ever existed, man. Whether it was Sodom and Gomorrah, okay, that's obvious why. Okay, and you got what, Nineveh, Babylon, okay, all those, Assyria, all those wicked kingdoms.
I got it right here. Yep, this is the book of Nahum, chapter 3. I'm starting at verse 4. It says, because of the multitude of the whoredoms of the well-favored harlot,
The well-favored harlot, okay? This is the top whore, man. Okay, if you have a bunch of whores in the block, this is the one that sticks out. Okay, you know,
The one making all the money.
yeah, got the all the best smelling perfume. Okay, they wear the damn wigs, the nicest wig. You know what I'm saying? Get the high heels.
the mistress of witchcraft that selleth nations through her whoredoms,
Right,
and families through her witchcraft.
right, and that's exactly what they do, man. Like the brother said earlier, the witchcrafts. Okay, they push the witchcrafts, which is like I said, the fornications, the false ideologies, the false doctrines get upon all nations.
Right. Just remind that. Yeah, through the media. I mean, once again, man, the main source of fashion, of music, I mean, all over the world comes out of here. Everyone tries to emulate that, quote unquote hip hop culture, right? You know, quote unquote black culture, right? You know, the whole world tries to emulate that. You got dudes over in Korea trying to emulate hip hop culture. You got people in Vietnam trying to emulate hip hop culture. You got British rappers. That's all that started here in America, Babylon the Great. There's no other country where that kind of stuff is coming out of. And people are influenced in the same way they are by American culture.
Right, which is pretty much death culture.
Yep.
That's pretty much what it is.
The mother of harlots and abominations of the earth.
Right.
And, you know, that's all in capital, too. Everything Mystery Babylon the Great. So it's really emphasizing.
Right. Jump down to verse 18 now, brother. This is how, like you said, there's plenty of ways to prove it. We're going to prove it right here, though.
This is Revelation 17 and 18, and it reads, and the woman which thou sawest,
The woman that thou sawest, riding upon that beast, okay, which pretty much is the system, okay, of this Edomite system, man, okay, which makes up of America, Babylon Great, the EU, okay, that's all makes up that beast system, man.
is that great city which reigneth over the kings of the earth.
Great reigneth over the kings of the earth. Now, which nation, okay, reigns over the kings of the earth? Who puts sanctions on everybody? Okay, what language is used? Okay, if you want to be a pilot, it doesn't matter what country you're in. It's his country's bastard language of English, man. That's what it is. Again, who has military bases everywhere? I believe last time I looked, there was almost 900 military bases, okay, all over the earth. Okay.
If you want to buy oil, what currency must you transfer yours into to go back and buy that same oil?
Yeah.
From your neighbor.
Yeah, that proves right there which nation this is speaking about. This is speaking about America, aka America.
My God. And then not only that, but prophecies of the nations of the east rising up against Babylon.
Oh yeah.
Right? We see that playing out right now. The nations are tired. They're sick of all the wickedness that this place pushes out. So they're rising up together to try to destroy economically.
Right. Yeah, that's why they got the BRICS nations. You see all these nations, they're clinging on, to Russia. But as the scripture says, like the brother said earlier, it's going to be a guard unto, and ultimately, they're going to shoot their missiles down on this war, man. For all the abominations that it's pushed. All these nations are tired, man, of this, American hegemony, man. They're tired of it. Okay? They don't want to deal with that filth anymore. All right? Because one of the main things it does is causes the damn women to go off. Okay? The women are already off. Okay? And this applies to who it applies to. Okay? We know there's women that are doing the best they can. Doesn't apply to you. Okay? But this applies to the majority. Okay? What do you see these women in these other nations doing? Going off, man. Going off. And it spoke about what the great city. Go ahead and go. grab Revelations 11 and 8.
Revelations 11 and verse 8, and it reads, and their dead bodies shall lie in the street of that great city.
Be that great city. Again, going back to this is speaking about America, Babylon Great. And their dead bodies, meaning what? Spiritually dead. Okay, not having that wisdom or understanding. The majority of our people, okay, they're in that mindset. Okay, they're still dead into not knowing who they are. Okay, they don't know who they are. Somebody grab Isaiah 1 and 2 right quick. Isaiah 1 and 2.
This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 1, verse 2. Hear, O heavens, and give ear, O earth, for the Lord hath spoken. I have nourished and brought up children.
See, the Lord said, I have nourished. How has he nourished his children? Okay, through his word, through the scriptures. And he's doing that right now, okay, through the ministry of the prophets. Okay, but what are our people doing?
And they have rebelled against me.
They have rebelled against me. Meaning they rebelled against Yahweh Hashem Yoshai. Okay, following what? It's the ways of the world. Following the ways of Babylon the Great. Keep going, brother. Next verse.
Verse 3, the ox knoweth his owner,
Right.
and the ass his master's crib.
Which are what? Two stubborn animals. Okay? They know where they live, and they know who they belong to. But our people do what?
It says, but Israel doth not know.
Israel does not know.
My people do not consider.
They don't even consider. Okay? They don't even know. They don't know they're Israel. They don't even consider it. Okay? You sit there and you tell them over and over and over again. What do? They don't take heed, man. They're rebellious. Okay? They're rebellious. They don't want to hear it. Right, go back. No, I'm sorry. I'm going to go back to Revelation. Oh, yeah, get that Proverbs 21 and 16 to lock it.
I got it in the KJV and the NLT. This is in the KJV, and it reads, the man that wandereth out of the way of understanding
Right.
shall remain in the congregation of the dead.
Right, pretty much like a walking zombie, man. A living dead. Okay, walking around not knowing who they are. Okay, and that's 2/3 of our people here in America, Babylon the Great. Okay, and wherever else, they're allotted, okay, throughout the whole world. Right, because we got Israelites scattered everywhere. But we know that we're speaking earlier to the brother that came before the lesson. Hey, this is going to be the biggest deliverance here, man, in America. Like we said, the Lord has a perfect plan, man. Okay, he brought the nations. He brought Judah, okay, and Israel, which is the southern and northern kingdom, to what? To be punished here, okay, and to be corrected. Now they're going to be delivered here, all right?
Just to go on what he says. This is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 16, verse 14. Therefore, behold, the days come, said the Lord, that it shall be no more said, the Lord liveth, that brought up the children of Israel out of the land of Egypt.
Right.
Verse 15, but the Lord liveth, that brought up the children of Israel from the land of the north.
Right. Which is North America, man. Okay, the Egypt, that was the first deliverance, man. Okay, when we came out as a nation. Okay, the power spirit, Yahweh Hashem Yoshai, he used Moses.
And from all the lands whither he had driven them. And I will bring them again into their land that I gave unto their fathers. Yeah, so exactly right, exactly what it says, man. The Lord, he scattered us among the nations, but he's promised to deliver us from the land of the north, which is here, America, Babylon the Great. And that proves exactly who Babylon is, because what's that, Zechariah chapter 2? Zechariah,
Flee from the land of the
right,
Lord.
right.
Yeah.
Zechariah chapter 2. It tells us that.
Zechariah 2:6.
Yep. Yeah. Zechariah chapter 2 tells us that we're in the land of the north.
Right. And like you said, they made a movie with the Ten Commandments when Moses brought the children out of Israel. Well, so this is going to be the bigger deliverance. We're not even going to speak no more about that deliverance. Why? Because it's going to be spectacular, man. We're going to come out of here with that chariot. That's going to be way more spectacular. You know? Wait now, brother. What you got? Oh, you got it? Okay.
Zechariah chapter 2, verse 6, it says, Ho, ho, come forth and flee from the land of the north.
Right. Saith
the Lord, for I have spread you abroad as the four winds of the heaven, saith the Lord. Deliver thyself, O Zion, it's not for the children of Israel, that dwelleth with the daughter of Babylon.
Right? How do you deliver yourself? By coming back to the law, statutes, and commandments, man, to the best of your ability. You can speak on it. That was it, right? Yeah, that's it. You can speak on it. That's good. Okay, yeah, that's what it's talking about. Okay, the deliverance is coming from here, America, Babylon the Great, which is America, aka America. Go ahead and go back to the Revelation. Oh. You got a precept? Yeah, go ahead, bring it out, bro.
So we just read the children of Israel are here in the land of the north. Jeremiah 16 and 14 says the Lord is going to deliver the children of Israel from the land of the north. Now here, this is Psalms chapter 137, verse 7. It says, remember, O Lord, the children of Edom in the day of Jerusalem, who said, raise it, even to the foundation thereof. O daughter of Babylon, who art to be destroyed.
Right.
Happy shall he be that rewardeth thee as thou hast served us. So that ties together the land of the north, the children of Esau, and Babylon.
Right.
And we know Malachi chapter 1, it says that the border of wickedness, which is also synonymous with the daughter of Babylon, is ran by Esau and Edom.
Right. Right. That's how we know that we're here in Babylon the Great, okay, and we're being held captives by Esau, man, the so-called white man. Okay? To this day. Go back to Revelation 11.
Revelation 11 and 8 again, and it reads, and their dead bodies shall lie in the street of the great city,
Right.
which spiritually is called Sodom and Egypt, where also our Lord was crucified.
Also where our Lord was crucified. But we know he wasn't crucified in Sodom or Egypt, okay, but that's talking about here America, Babylon the Great. Why? Because they X'd him out. Okay? They painted him as a so-called white man. Okay? They also they lied about who he's here for. Okay? He's here for the nation of Israel, okay, beginning with the elect. Okay? And then what Sodom, spiritually called Sodom, why? We know why. Okay? Again, you know, they want everybody to be part of the alphabet club. Okay? And it says Egypt, why? Because Egypt is synonymous with bondage. Okay, that's why we're still in their hands. We're still in captivity. Okay?
Verse 9, and they of the people and kindred and tongues and nations shall see their dead bodies 3 days and a half, and shall not suffer their dead bodies to be put in graves.
Right, roughly that 350-year period came before the elder Alpha Bivens, okay, came on the scene, okay, which is Elijah, okay, in the spirit, okay, because for about 350 years, we didn't know who we were as people. Okay, we thought we were all these bywords and proverbs. Okay, not understanding, hey, that we're the children of Israel. You so-called Negroes, Hispanics, and you so-called Native Americans. Okay, we are the children of Israel. Okay, they said for 350 years, we didn't know who we were. Okay, and these nations, they knew. They know to this day. They know who they are. They know who they go back to. It's funny how everybody has a place they go back to as far as the Bible, except us. We don't know who we are as a people. Go ahead, brother.
That's part of the curses. That's part of the curses right here. This is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 17, verse 4. And it says, and thou, even thyself, for the children of Israel, shall discontinue from thine heritage that I gave thee. And I will cause thee to serve thine enemies in the land which thou knowest not.
Right.
That's exactly what happened. We served our enemies in the land which we know not.
Right.
And we still are serving them to this day.
Right.
It says, for ye have kindled a fire in mine anger, which shall burn forever.
Right.
And that's one of the curses right now, to this day.
Right.
The curses of Deuteronomy chapter 28 and the different curses that are spoken of throughout the prophecies in the Old Testament.
Right. It said forever, meaning just for a very long time. And we're going to be under those curses until Yahweh Shai comes back to deliver his elect. Okay, and through the elect, like the scripture says, all Israel shall be saved, as it is written. Okay? Let's keep going on that.
If I may add, because of what you said, you know, every other nation on the planet, they refer to themselves by their lineage.
Right.
They're Germans, they're Chinese, they're Japanese. America is the only land where people refer to themselves as colors. You know, you don't get that anywhere else but here. But this is supposed to be the most educated people. Continuing on, this is Revelations 11 and 10, and it reads, and they that dwell upon the earth shall rejoice over them.
Right. like the other nations.
Yeah.
You know, they said they point the finger at the for the lamentation. They point the finger and pretty much laugh at us, man. Just roughly paraphrasing.
And make merry and shall send gifts one to another.
Right. And those gifts are who? Us, Israelites. And those gifts were the slaves, man. And the slave trades. You know?
And these two prophets tormented them that dwelt on the earth.
Right. Because they remember, okay, how when we were all together under what? Solomon for 40 years. They remember all these nations were under their subjection, or architects of Israelites. Okay, they remember that. You know?
They remember Salakia. They remember King Solomon's daddy.
Yeah.
Putting foot to tail to make his sons reign the kingdom of peace for 40 years.
Right, he set up King Solomon to have that 40 years of peace, which is symbolic but to the kingdom. That was only a little taste of it. And when we get in the kingdom, it's going to be that time, you know, infinity, infinity, man.
Verse 11, and after 3 days and a half, the spirit of life from the Most High entered into them.
Right. Again, that's roughly around from 1619 to roughly 1969. Okay, when again, Elder Abubivens came on the scene as Elijah the prophet. You know, the spirit of the prophet. Okay, again, it's the spirit of the prophet subject to the prophets. Okay, he was Elijah in the spirit, man. Those who can receive it. Okay, that's why through that, okay, we understand who we were. And then now what? We're risen up, okay, after that 350-year period, okay, after that 3.5 days, now what? Great fear fell upon them. Yeah.
And they stood upon their feet, and great fear fell upon them which saw them.
Right, that's why these nations, they're afraid, especially Esau. Okay, they see the band of the Lord, okay, rising up, and they see a lot of people, beginning to say, hey, I'm an Israelite.
That's in the prophecies.
Right.
Ezekiel 37, the prophecy of the dry bones.
Exactly.
And then I'm going to read from the prophet Isaiah chapter 44. And I'm going to start at verse 3. It says, this is speaking of, this is the Heavenly Father Yahweh saying, for I will pour water upon him that is thirsty, and floods upon the dry ground. I will pour my spirit upon thy seed, and my blessing upon thine offspring. And they shall spring up as among the grass, as willows by the watercourses.
Right.
One shall say, I am the Lord's, and another shall call himself by the name of Jacob, and another shall subscribe with his hand unto the Lord, and surname himself by the name of Israel. So that's in the prophecies that the Lord, he's going to rise up his chosen in the last day, and they're gonna remember who they are. They're gonna call themselves by the name of Israel.
Right. This is like it says in Isaiah 10 and 20. Then a remnant shall return, okay, and not stay upon him that smote him. Okay, that's the Israelites waking up to who they are. Okay. Go ahead.
All right. This is also spoken of in the book of John, chapter 6, verse 44. It says, no man can come to me except the Father which hath sent me draw him, and I will raise him up at the last day. So that's part of the prophecies. The children of Israel, because make no mistake, Yahushua HaMashiach, he came so that we can have the gospel of reconciliation for the children of Israel. You can't be reconciled to the Father if you never went in the first place.
Right. You go to that word draw, it's a help code, which pretty means roughly to drag. You know, because before we came into this, we had other inspirations to do other things.
Right.
Okay? But what the Lord knocked us in the head, he knocked us in the head, gave us that spirit of understanding, okay, to understand this truth. And guess what? We're doing this. Okay?
You dudes want to be rappers,
right.
Basketball players, pilots. Maybe you want to be a mad scientist.
Yeah, sports stars, all that stuff. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Or maybe you want to be a peanut butter chaser.
No.
But
you gotta have fun. You gotta have fun.
But anyways, it said he would raise us up in the last day. So that's how we know that the end is near. And that's why it says in he read that book of Revelations earlier that they stood up upon their feet and great fear fell upon them, right? Because they understand that once the children of Israel are risen up, that means the prophecies of the end of their society It's coming fast, fast approaching.
And they get that moment, you know?
Right. That
Oh,
fourth
shit.
That fourth beast is getting ready.
Well, like I said, it says in Job 18 chapter, they were driven to their feet. Oh shit! You know that's pretty much where they're at right now, man. These other nations, beginning with Esau.
I gotta appreciate that. This is what they're afraid of right here. This is Revelation chapter 11, verse 15. Actually, no, I'm here 14.
I'm in there.
Oh, you in there?
Yeah. That's what I'm coming down to it as we speak.
Okay, so like, I'll let you.
It's all good. Yeah, no, but I'm literally just coming. I'm at 12 right now.
Okay.
If you got another one,
What
no.
do you got there for 14, brother?
Yeah.
Oh, but
Don't get to it. You just be good at once we get to it.
11, 15. Is that what you want to get? King of this world. Okay.
I spoke out of turn.
No, you're good,
Not
brother.
at all, bro.
You bring it.
I'm just saying, I'm literally reading that right now, 11 and I'm at 12.
We'll get 12, brother, then he can get 15.
Okay.
You get the whole thing. I don't know. Okay, that's
All right, this is back in Revelations 11 and 12. And they heard a great voice from heaven saying unto them, come up hither.
Right.
And they ascended up to heaven in a cloud, and their enemies beheld them.
Right. Because they're going to witness, okay, the elect getting taken up in the chariots, man. They're going to see it. That's all the enemies, even 2/3 of our people. Okay?
And it has the biggest oops moment they've ever had. And the same, verse 13, in the same hour was there a great earthquake, and the 10th part of the city fell.
Right.
And in the earthquake were slain of men 7,000.
Right, which is a complete number. And the 10th part of the city, which if you look it up, there's 10 FEMA zones here in America, man. Okay? And that's gonna fall. This whole place, all the shores from the west coast to the east coast, they're gonna be on flames.
The sea, the shining sea, as they like to say.
Yeah. See the shining sea.
Sir. And the remnant were affrighted and gave glory to the Most High in heaven.
See, even those that are the remnant, that remainder, that number that's going to be delivered, they're going to be afraid. It's going to be such a terrible event, and it's going to be such a terrible sight, man. And the Lord willing, we can be part of the elect. But if we're there, we're going to be, oh man, we're not going to make it, you know. But then guess what? Boom, we're going to make it. Lord will.
Each in the twinkling of an eye.
Right.
The second woe is past, and behold, the third woe cometh quickly.
Right, going into what? The world wars. Okay, World War I came, World War II came, and it passed. Now we're approaching what? World War III. Okay? The last war.
We're in World War III now, the cold part of it.
Yeah, pretty much.
And it's heating up quick.
Right.
You know,
About to get real hot for you.
yes, sir, what he said.
Yeah, all the heat you can take.
Yeah, like you said, that day shall burn like an oven.
It's gone. So you want 15 still? You want? Because we can have it. All right, you can speak on
You
it.
can speak on it, brother.
This is verse 11 and verse 15. And the seventh angel sounded, and there were great voices in heaven saying, the kingdoms of this world are become the kingdoms of our Lord and of his Christ, and he shall reign forever and ever.
There you go. That's what they're afraid of, man. That's what they're afraid of because I'm gonna tell you, it's not coming. It's not coming peacefully. It's a hostile takeover. That's what they're afraid of because not only is he coming to take the kingdom of the earth, he's also coming to execute judgment. This is Numbers chapter 33, Numbers chapter 35, verse 33. He says, so ye shall not pollute the land wherein ye are. The blood, it defileth the land. And we know this land has had a lot of bloodshed on it. Right. Especially over there in the south. Right, where I'm from the southeast. Georgia, Tennessee, North Carolina, South Carolina, Trail of Tears, right? All that, man. All that. Slavery.
It make no bones about it. You know, they act like the North is this precious little stink piece of shit area that didn't. You got to remember, they came in up in New York So what they did to the tribes up there, the Trail of Deer, all of that happened up there. And we were slaves up in the northern area too. Don't let these people fool you like the North was this bastion of righteousness and freedom. No, this whole land, from one end of it to the other, from its inception till its inevitable end, it's been pure, wicked, evil, contemptible, malicious, maniacal. Just, man, anything you can think of to describe this place that involves wickedness, that's this place.
Right. And even, what did they say with Christopher Colon, or what they call Columbus?
Yeah.
They said he didn't put his sword down, not even for an hour.
And that was in South America, so to speak. You know, he didn't hit these shores where this confused, lost, can't find where he's going at.
Hey,
He had a ship to fly. He had a you know, Elmo's fire to follow, and he still missed the mark.
Right. Oh, yeah.
Stupid ass.
He even had that chariot leader.
Yeah, they act like these people are such great men.
Yeah, and Edomites, man, you saw you got a lot to pay for, man. A lot to pay for.
Right. It says, for blood it defiled the land, and the land cannot be cleansed of the blood that is shed therein, but by the blood of him that shed it.
Right.
So there you go. That's what the Lord is. That's what He's really coming to do. You know, it's a two-edged sword.
Recompense, man.
Yeah, recompense, and also, and that's in Revelation chapter 18. You know, the recompense, right? Filled to her double,
Right.
the same fill that she given you.
Right.
But that's what the Lord's really coming to do.
Right.
He's coming to cleanse the land of the wicked.
Right.
But He's gonna do it by blood. He's gonna squash them like grapes, as it says in what's that? Isaiah 63. Isaiah 63.
Yeah, I know. Hey, who's this? We're coming from Boston.
You're gonna smash them. You're gonna smash them like
Coming
grapes.
from I forget exactly.
Yeah,
Boston with Diagon. Yep.
Glorious and
Gordon Gold. Yeah, go to Deuteronomy 28. Because before all that happens, hey man, the children of Israel got to wake up. Okay, we know I talk to the spirit of Yahweh Shem Yoshai. Okay, but we read earlier in Isaiah, a lot of our people they don't even know who they are, man. We're going to go through the curses, okay, to identify, hey, who do these curses fit? Okay, that's you so-called Negroes, so-called Hispanics, and you so-called Native Americans. And even those that may look like other nations, okay, but if you hear this truth and you're compelled to repent, you're compelled to search this truth out, it's because the Lord put the Spirit upon you. Why? Because you're an Israelite. Okay? Start at 28 and 45.
Okay. Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 45. Moreover, all these curses shall come upon thee, and shall pursue thee,
Right.
and overtake thee till thou be destroyed.
Right, and that's what's happened to our people. We're a destroyed people, man. Yeah, you got some athletes, some celebrities. Okay, they made it. Okay, but there's a price they're paying for that, man. They've done certain things to get to that position. Okay, abominable things. Okay, and that's when you can search that out, man. That's well documented, man. You even got celebrities speaking on those things. Okay, they do something strange to change, man.
It says, because thou hearkenest not unto the voice of the Lord thy God,
Right.
to keep his commandments and his statutes which he commanded thee.
Right, we didn't listen, we didn't take heed what the Lord said to do. Okay, that's why we're in the condition we're in.
Yeah. And they shall be upon thee for a sign and for a wonder, and upon thy seed forever.
See, it's gonna be a sign and a wonder. That's how we know that that's speaking of us. Okay, predominantly the so-called Negroes, so-called Hispanics, and so-called Native Americans. Okay, now jump up to verse 37, brother.
Verse 37, it says,
Let's go 37.
okay. Verse 30,
Unless you want to make a point.
and that is important.
Go ahead, brother. If you want to bring it out, speak on it.
Okay. Verse 36, it says, the Lord shall bring thee and thy king which thou shalt set over thee unto a nation which neither thou nor thy fathers have known, and there thou shalt serve other gods, wood and stone. And speaking of Serapis Christus,
Right.
Serapis Jesus Christos, right? And then it says, thou shalt become an astonishment and a proverb and a byword among all nations where the Lord shall lead thee.
Right, a proverb and a byword. Well, what do we call this? All kinds of derogatory terms, man. you know, spics, niggas, wetbacks, okay, tonsils, okay? Is that a coincidence? No, it's not a coincidence. Okay, it's not a coincidence that we live in the most impoverished places throughout AK America, man. The barrios, the hoods, the projects. Who lives there? The reservations. It's not a coincidence. Okay.
It says, verse 38.
No, that's good, brother. Now jump down to verse 64, and then you get 68, brother.
Verse 64. And the Lord shall scatter thee among all people from the one end of the earth even unto the other, and there thou shalt serve other gods which neither thou nor thy fathers have known, even wood and stone.
See, going back to what? Serving these idols. Okay, like the brother said, one of the biggest idols is what? A so-called white man Jesus, man. Okay, that's one of the biggest idols. Okay, then who else they serve? They serve Buddha. Okay, the god of what? Islam. Okay, all this madness, man. Yeah, that's what they do. Okay, that's why this is speaking of us, man. That's the children of Israel. We are the children of Israel. Okay, all that matters. Okay, go ahead and jump down to 68.
Verse 68, it says, and the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships.
Right, they're going into Egypt again with ships. Did we not read earlier? This is spiritually called Egypt and Sodom. And that's what it's speaking about. Because at that time, they were so close to Egypt, they didn't have to go back with ships. Okay? So this is speaking of what? A spiritual Egypt.
Yeah, and I'm gonna prove that. It says Deuteronomy, book of Deuteronomy, chapter 5, verse 6. He says, I am the Lord thy God, Yahweh Bashmi Yahushai, which brought thee out of the land of Egypt from the house of bondage.
Right.
So Egypt is synonymous with bondage.
Yep.
Bondage means slavery.
Right.
Okay, so he said he would bring us back into the house of bondage, into slavery, with ships. That only happened to the children of Israel. Once again, as he said before, the children of Israel, when they were over in the land, they didn't have to go into Egypt by ships.
Right.
They went on foot.
Yeah.
It's not that far. If you look geographically, it's not that far.
Yeah, so there's no way possible that this is speaking about back there.
Right.
This is speaking about this place.
Right.
Spiritually called Sodom, spiritually called Egypt.
Right. The house of bondage, slavery.
And this is speaking of predominantly the southern tribes. Okay, because the northern tribes were already here. Okay? But there were some northern tribes, mingled amongst them.
Just quickly, just to further prove that Egypt wasn't that far. It took us 40 years in the wilderness because of our transgression. And this is Matthew 2 and 14, and it reads, when he arose, he took the young child and his mother by night and departed into Egypt. So when Herod was looking to murder Yahushua,
Right.
his father and his mother rose up and went into Egypt.
Right.
They didn't have to get on the ship to get there.
Right, when he slaughtered all those children.
Right.
And also proves what?
No, go ahead.
So it also proves what? The color of Yahushua. Because there's many Hamites in Egypt at the time.
Yeah.
How can he go there and be mingled amongst them and not stand out if he was a fucking cracker? Excuse my language. Okay? He wouldn't. Yeah, there he is. There's no way he would have been able to hide. Man.
Oh, ancient Egypt was Hamitic, right, which is the African nations. So it was all very, very dark skinned people. And until the Persians and the Medes, I believe, invaded, we spoken of in Ezekiel chapter 30. But before that, ancient Egypt was a nation of all dark skinned people.
Right.
So there's no way that he could have been there, if he was a so-called white man.
Yeah, it wasn't until Alexander that they ended up having the so-called Edomites.
And right now, we get the Arab nations there now.
Yeah,
That's what
claiming to be
claiming to be Egyptian. Madness. Was it more? That was all 68?
Yeah.
That was all.
Oh, no, that's more.
Oh, yeah.
I said, let me read the whole thing. We'll read verse 68 again. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships by the way whereof I spake unto thee, which in Egypt represents the house of bondage slavery. Thou shalt see it no more again, and there you shall be sold unto your enemies for bondmen and bondwomen.
Right.
And no man shall buy you. And that going to that word buy, in the Hebrew it's talking about redeem. no man is going to redeem you from your slavery. No man is going to redeem you from your captivity.
Right.
Because the Lord, Yahweh Shemi Shai, He's the one that's going to bring the redemption when the time comes. I think it's in Jeremiah.
But God also says what? He says, I will not meet thee as a man. He's not going to come as a man. He's going to come as that angelic force. What? To redeem the children of Israel. Okay, beginning with the elect. Okay? Right, go ahead and go to
I got something for you. Yeah, and just as I was saying, once again, man, no one shall redeem us. We're still here in our captivity. It tells us that in Luke 38, but this is for those. This is for the 1948s. You know, saying that they're the Lord's people, and they're over there, and they're over in the nation right now. This is Jeremiah chapter 23, verse 5, and it says, "Behold, the days come, saith the Lord, that I will raise unto David a righteous branch, and a king shall reign and prosper, and shall execute judgment and justice in the earth. In his days, Judah shall be saved, and Israel shall dwell safely. And this is his name whereby he shall be called the Lord our righteousness."
Right, we're speaking about Yahushua.
It says, "Therefore, behold, the days come, saith the Lord, that they shall no more say, the Lord liveth, which brought up the children of Israel out of the land of Egypt.
Right.
But the Lord liveth, which brought up and which led the seed of the house of Israel out of the north country, from all countries whither I have driven them, and they shall dwell in their own land." So it's telling you that we are not going to dwell, the children of Israel are not going to dwell in their land until that Savior has been risen up.
Right.
And they even say themselves that the Messiah has not came yet. So they're directly contradicting the prophecy.
Right. Yeah, the same thing we read earlier in Jeremiah the 16th chapter. Same thing. Okay, it's going to be a new deliverance. Okay, it's going to exceed the last deliverance, which was when the children of Israel came out of Egypt, man. Okay, that hasn't happened yet. Where's the movie? Where's the movie? We have the Ten Commandments, right? Charles Heston. Okay. Well, that has not happened. That's coming. And that's coming for you Israelites. All right, brother, go ahead and go to Baruch. Why? Because look, they said we should come to Egypt in ships again, meaning the southern kingdom, okay, which the northern kingdom was already here. You know what? Before you read that out, brother, go grab 2nd Ezra, the 13th chapter, we'll start at the 39th verse. We're going to read down to where it's going to say, "And then they shall come." It's a little bit, there's a little bit there.
So 2nd Ezra.
Yeah, 2nd Ezra 13, and start at verse 39.
Yeah. 2nd Ezra 13:39.
Right.
2nd Ezra 13, verse 39. And it says, "And whereas thou sawest that he gathered another peaceful multitude unto him."
Right.
Those are the 10 tribes which were carried away prisoners out of their own land in the time of Hosea, the king whom Salmanazar, king of Syria, led away captive.
Right. But this is the northern tribe, okay, under what? The Assyrian captivity. Okay? What? Fleeing away from it. Keep going.
"And he carried them over the waters, and so came they into another land.
It's another land. Keep going.
But they took this counsel amongst themselves, that they would lead the multitude of the heathen
Right.
and go forth into a further country where never mankind dwelt."
Right. So they fled the Assyrian captivity, and then they got counsel together, saying we're gonna go somewhere else. Why? So they can keep the law, statutes, and commandments. Okay, but we know through prophecy and history, hey, as a northern kingdom, we weren't able to do that. Okay, keep going.
It says that they might there keep their statutes, which they never kept in their own land.
They couldn't keep it there. Came here to America, Babylon the Great, and went off, man. Worshipping what? North American Indians worship all kinds of madness, man. You know? And then you have the Lat tribes, okay? Again, and the scripture says what? Leave them alone. They are mad upon their idols, man. That's speaking about Ephraim. Okay, keep going.
It says, verse 43, "And they entered into Euphrates by the narrow passages of the river."
Right.
Verse 44, "For the Most High then showed signs for them, and held still the flood till they were passed over."
Right, coming down with the horn, right? The horn of Africa, man. It's very it's a very what's the word? Like turbulent waters, man. So the Lord had to hold still the waters so the children of Israel could come through. Keep going.
For For through that country there was a great way to go, namely of a year and a half. The same region is called Arsarit.
Arthur, see, that's speaking about America. See, a year and a half. King Solomon would send ships to Tarshish. Then it would be a 3-year round trip. Okay, to what? To bring back baboons, just precious materials and peacocks, which really goes into turkeys, man. And if you do the research, you'll find out, okay, that the turkey, okay, is native to North America, man. Hey, you can't make this up, man. This is where it's talking about. This is Arsarit is America, Babylon the Great, okay, where the northern tribes came into. Keep going.
Yep. Verse 46. Then dwelt they there until the latter time.
Right, and we're in the latter times. Okay, and you still see the people here. The northern tribes are here, okay, and they came America. Keep going.
And now when they shall begin to come.
See, now when they should begin to come, okay, the southern kingdom. Okay, when they should begin to come, the southern kingdom. Okay, when they were brought here, what? The slave trades. Okay, now we're all here together. Okay, serving being in this captivity, okay, under the oppressor, okay, which is Esau, the so-called white man. Okay, but there was a reason why the Lord did it.
That's verse 5.
Yeah.
This is Baruch 4, and I'm going to start at verse 5, and it says, "Be of good cheer, my people,
Right.
the memorial of Israel.
Right.
Ye were sold to the nations,
Right.
not for your destructions, but because ye moved the Most High to wrath, ye were delivered unto your enemies."
Even though we are destroyed people, and the Lord didn't do it to destroy us fully, it's why? It's for correction, okay, for rebuke, okay? Why? Because we went off. Okay?
Verse 7 too. Amen. "For ye provoked him that made you by sacrificing unto devils and not to the Most High." It explains one of the main reasons why we were sold to these nations.
Right.
We're following their gods.
Idols.
Which are no gods. They're idols. You know, we were always influenced by other nations.
Right.
No matter what our Heavenly Father did to show us that He was the one true power, for some reason we just couldn't keep our head out of our proverbial ass.
No,
For lack of a better way
Right.
to describe it.
Right. Gotta look on everything, gotta touch everything.
Right. You know,
I want that.
did everything
Yeah.
to free you from Egypt, you rebelled. Showed you miracles in the wilderness, you rebelled. You know, gave us a land flowing with milk and honey, we acted like we did it for ourselves.
Right.
You know, told us to get rid of the nations that were in that land. What do we do? Let them live. Followed after their gods. Begin to do the things and wicked abominations that they did.
Right. Domingos Masihigan and pretty much took on their works.
Huh.
That says it in the Psalms. Yeah, grab did you say that we were having our enemies? Can you read that one more time?
So this is Baruch 4 and 6 one more time, and it reads, "Ye were sold to the nations,
Right.
not for your destruction, but because ye moved the Most High to wrath, ye were delivered unto your enemies."
Right into our enemies, man. And who's our enemies? Grab that brother real quick. Psalm 83rd chapter.
Psalms 83 chapter.
83. Start.
Psalms chapter 83. And it reads, it says, "Keep not thou silence, O God, hold not thy peace, and be not still."
Right. And that's the prayer. That's the prayer we should be preaching. I mean, not preaching. That's the prayer that we should be calling out to Yahweh Shem Shai, man. You know, hey, don't hold silence, man. Look at the condition we're in. Help us, Lord. You know what?
It says, "For lo, thine enemies have made a tumult."
Right. Make a tumult. They're making noise against us, man.
And they that hate thee have lifted up the head.
Right. Lift up their head. They're prideful. Okay. They're prideful. Why? Because they have us in the conditions that we're in. You know what?
It says, "They have taken crafty counsel against thy people, and consulted against thy hidden
And
ones."
who's the hidden ones? And that's it, the Israelites. Right, we're here mingled amongst the heathen. Somebody grab Ezekiel 5:5 real quick, if I may. Against the hidden ones. We're right here in the midst of what? Of all these nations.
Ezekiel 5 and verse 5, and it reads, Thus saith Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai power, this is Jerusalem.
Right.
I have set it in the midst of the nations and countries that are round about her.
Right.
Verse 6, and she has changed my judgments into wickedness more than the nations, and my statutes more than the countries that were round about her.
Right. Just going into what the brother was saying, taking on their works. Okay? This is Jerusalem. I have set thee in the midst of the nations. Meaning what? We're mingled amongst all these heathenistic people, man. What doing, taking on their works. So it's no wonder why the Lord is punishing us. Okay? There's no wonder. No one can say, hey, well, why are we being punished? Hey, we know why. The scriptures tell us why.
For they have refused my judgment and my statutes.
Right.
They have not walked in them.
Not walked in them. And that's exactly what our people have done to this day. To this day. I mean, we were in that lot. Okay? And to what? Again, what we spoke earlier. The Lord knocked on our heads, man. He gave us a wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, man, to understand the scriptures. Okay, what we were taught, okay, by who the man, and who the Lord set up man, okay, to teach us. Okay? We'll go back.
So going back into Psalm chapter 83, it says, they have said, come and let us cut them off from being a nation.
Right.
Right. That the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance.
Right, no more to remember. Let's get rid of the Israelites. Okay? Keep going.
For they have consulted together with one consent.
Right.
They are confederate against thee.
Right, don't they do that now when they have their meetings in Davos? And they gather together in that summit, man. Okay, they gather together what? To come against our people. Okay, this is what they do. You know,
The tabernacles of Edom,
the tabernacles of Edom, the chief enemy. The brother said earlier, that's the chief enemy. Okay, to Yahweh should be Oshai, and to you Israelites. It's gonna list some nations. Keep going.
the tabernacles of Edom, and the Ishmaelites,
Ishmaelites, which is the Arabs,
of Moab,
the Chinese.
and the Hagarenes.
Hagarenes, I believe that's more Arab, right? Or the Hamites? Is it Eastern Europeans? Okay.
The Baal and Ammon,
I believe the Baal, if you look it up, I think the Baal is a region in Edom, so it could be more Edomites. I'm not exactly sure, but it says Ruah.
and Ammon,
Ammon, which is the Japanese.
and Amalek,
Amalek, which is the grandson of Esau. See?
1948.
Right, the 1948ers, those that are possessing the land. That say that they're us.
The Philistines,
The Philistines, which is more Hamites.
with the inhabitants of Tyre.
See? With Tyre. So that's more Hamites. Okay? Those are all enemies to Yahweh Shai. See? That's only a list. Okay? Really, all these nations. Okay? If you're not an Israelite, if you're not the lineage of Jacob, you're an enemy to Yahweh Shai. Why? Because they've all had their somebody want to grab First Maccabees 2 and 10 real quick? Yeah, okay. First Maccabees 2 and 10. Yeah, we're done. Go ahead, bring it out, man.
This is Zechariah chapter 1, and I'm going to start at 14 if I may. So the angel that communed with me said unto me, Cry thou saying, Thus saith Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai of hosts, I am jealous for Jerusalem and for Zion with a great jealousy.
Right.
And I am very sore displeased with the heathens that are at ease. For I was but a little displeased, and they helped forward the affliction. So, this is in conjunction to us being sold to the nations, not for our destruction. These nations literally have destroyed us.
Right.
The only thing they didn't do was eliminate us because they weren't allowed. But our people are completely destroyed. They're into every abominable work. They follow every doctrine of man. They have completely abandoned who they are.
Right. Right. Yeah. Good day, gentlemen.
First Maccabees chapter 2, verse 10. And it says, what nation has not had a part in her kingdom and gotten of her spoil?
Right. Right. Yeah. Yeah. What nation has not had a part in their spoils? They've all had a part in bringing down Israel, man. They've all benefited from it. They still benefit from it. But Israel losing its heritage. And going back to the brother brought out earlier, what Jeremiah 17:4. Okay, we're in these low conditions, and all these other nations they benefit. Okay, to this day, when you see the corner stores ran by what the Moab, and you got the Ishmaelites, okay, selling us garbage. Okay.
We talked about that in the parable of Lazarus.
Right.
Luke chapter 16. The parable of Lazarus, Luke chapter 16, of the dogs licking the wounds, licking the wounds of Lazarus. Lazarus represents the children of Israel, the dogs of other nations. And then the rich man, that's the chief that's oppressing Lazarus, represents Esau.
Right.
He's the one that spearheaded it all.
Yeah, so like I said, we're here, okay, in the midst of all these other heathen nations, okay, here in Babylon the Great, again, for what? For not taking heed to the law, statutes, commandments, rebellion against Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. That's why the Lord has us all here together. Somebody grab Jeremiah 50 and 33. You want to bring it up, brother? You want to? Yeah, you can jump down to 33. 50, 33, sir. Yeah, I'm at 50. Go ahead.
Jeremiah,
Okay, get it.
Jeremiah 50, chapter 50, verse 7. It says, all that found them have devoured them, and their adversaries said, we offend not, because they have sinned against the Lord.
Yeah, see?
They say, well, they sinned against the Lord, so we can do whatever we want.
Right. Right.
Now realizing they're gonna receive judgment for that. It says, the habitation of justice, even the Lord, the hope of their fathers. Right. Now going down to verse 33. Thus saith the Lord of hosts, the children of Israel and the children of Judah were oppressed together.
Right.
And all that took them captives held them fast. They refused to let them go.
Refused to let us go. Stay right there, brother. I'm going to have to read the next verse right now. See? You got to Yeah, they refused to let us go. They didn't tell us who we were? No. They held us fast and refused to let us go. Meaning what? We're in their hands. We're captive, okay, to these nations, beginning with Esau. All right? And that's Judah, Israel, all the tribes, man. From Judah all the way down to Issachar. The so-called Negroes all the way down to the so-called Mexicans. Okay?
This goes with, this is Ezekiel 20, I'm going to start at 33, and it reads, as I live, saith Yahweh by Shimei power, surely with a mighty hand and with a stretched out arm and with fury poured out will I rule over you. And I will bring you out from the people and will gather you out of the countries wherein ye are scattered with a mighty hand and with a stretched out arm and with fury poured out. Hey, it's going to be fury poured out on our people. The 2/3, you're gonna get the wrath of the Most High, and these other nations who the Most High gives not a damn about. You're gonna catch big hell. You're not gonna understand the level of trauma brought to you. But we're gonna be pulled out from amongst you. The Most High is gonna gather His elect to begin with, that 144,000 and the innumerable number. And then the rest of you crazy, degenerate, mixed up, confused Israelites running around mimicking your oppressor, following the ways of your captor, right. You're going to be consumed in this land. He's going to deal with you with fury.
Right, man. And that's what's coming. That's what's coming. Grab Isaiah 47:6, and then we're going to get that Jeremiah 50:34.
This is Isaiah 47 and verse 6, and it reads, I was wroth with my people.
Right.
I have polluted mine inheritance.
Right.
And given them into thine hand.
Whose hand? These other nations can be getting with Esau. Why? Because right now he's that chief enemy, man. He's in the power seat. He's in his blessing. Okay, the blessing that Isaac gave him through the power and spirit of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai to what? To have the sword, okay, which is that's what he's lived by. He's gotten everything through that ill-gotten gain, man. Through that sword, the fatness of the earth, and the dew from heaven. He's in his rulership.
Thou didst show them no
Thou
mercy.
didst show them no mercy. Have you had mercy upon our people? No, not even a little bit.
Upon the ancient hast thou very heavily laid thy yoke.
See, even upon the elderly, the older people, they don't give a damn, man. They don't give a damn. You know, when you see all these elderly people still working, okay? Are they trying to help? No.
Tell you to go march.
They don't give a damn.
March.
That's them having no mercy. But this is coming. Go ahead.
Yep. Verse 34 of Jeremiah 50, it says, "Their Redeemer is strong. The Lord of hosts is his name.
Right.
He shall thoroughly plead their cause, that he may give rest to the land and disquiet the inhabitants of Babylon.
Right. Keep going.
A sword is upon the Chaldeans, saith the Lord."
Right. Chaldeans being the witches and warlocks. Okay, and we have the same thing now. Okay, we got the modern day Chaldeans. Okay, again performing their rituals, their witchcraft, everything that they put upon the people.
Yep. "A sword is upon the Chaldeans, saith the Lord, and upon the inhabitants of Babylon."
Right, and that's where we're in. We're in Babylon the Great, man. The Lord's getting ready to plead our cause, man. Okay, bring destruction, okay, to the inhabitants of Babylon the Great.
"And upon her princes and upon her wise men. A sword is upon the liars, and they shall dote. A sword is upon her mighty men, and they shall be dismayed.
Right.
A sword is upon their horses and upon their chariots, and upon all the mingled people that are in the midst of her."
See, all the mingled people, going back to what we were saying. Okay? And destruction is coming. That sword is speaking about destruction. You know?
"And they shall become as women.
Come as women.
A sword is upon her treasures, and they shall be robbed."
Yeah. And that's what's coming to America, Babylon the Great. Okay, go ahead and get it. Yeah, for the wickedness.
Jeremiah 49:12, and it reads, "For thus saith Yahweh, behold, they whose judgment was not to drink of the cup have assuredly drunk
Yeah,
it."
who's that speaking about? It's speaking about us as Israelites. We drank of that cup, okay, that we weren't really supposed to drink of it. Okay, but what through our rebelliousness, hey, we had to drink of it. Okay, that cup of captivity, that cup of destruction. Okay, we're destroyed people. Okay, we're destroyed people. Again, it's not is it a coincidence? Okay, that we live in the barrios, the reservations, the hoods? No, it's not a coincidence. Okay, we're here for punishment. Okay, and the Lord's going to recompense all these nations for what they've done to us. Okay, that's coming.
"And art thou he that shall altogether go unpunished?"
No, it's not going to go unpunished. He has a lot to pay for what he's done. Okay, to the so-called Native Americans, to the so-called Hispanic Latinos here that came here, and then to the so-called Negroes that came later on. Okay, the slave trade. This devil has put our people through all kinds of atrocities and calamities, and he's not going to get away with it.
"Thou shalt not go unpunished,
No, you're not going to go unpunished.
but thou shalt surely drink of it."
You're going to go right into captivity, man. You're going to serve 1,000 years of brutal punishment. Okay, then you're going to be Obadiah 1:18. You're going to be eradicated. Now, what the Lord does with those spirits, we don't know. It's not written. Okay, whether He puts them back into the nations or you're just gone. Okay, we just know that once that 1,000-year period is done, there's going to be no more Edomites. Yeah, go ahead, brother.
"For I have sworn by myself, saith Yahweh, that Basra shall become a desolation,
Right.
a reproach, and a waste, and a curse,
Right.
and all the cities thereof shall be perpetual waste."
Right.
So, I mean, this is the most I tell you right now, that Basra, which was the chief city of Edom, is going to, which is now America, aka America, aka Babylon, aka Egypt. This place is not original. You know, it's taking on all of the philosophies and the customs of the world. But it's right, it's going to become a desolation. So from one end of this place to the other, it's going to be consumed. The nuclear fire and the chariots fire and everything is going to be burning already.
That's right.
You know, it's going to become a reproach and a waste. The curse is going to come off of us, which it's already in the process of being lifted up off of us. and placed on our oppression.
Right. Deuteronomy 30 and 7. Yeah.
You know?
Same thing heard the day before my same thing too. Same thing. Me when I came, same thing.
What are you? Are you Native American? Native American?
I'm from
You been drinking, brother?
My son.
You been drinking?
Little bit.
Yeah, you can tell.
I hear they get buying shit, whatever.
Right.
Yeah, with the chef over there, fucking Hoopy up there.
Okay.
Way up there.
Right.
Up there, my son, he's gone. And downtown Saxon, my son, he's gone up there too.
Okay. Well, just understand. I know you had a little bit of drink. We gotta understand. You're an Israelite. Okay. Salvation is for you. To the world, they didn't call Jesus Christ. His name in the Hebrew is Yahweh Shai. That's the son's name. The name of the father is Yahweh. Okay. Yahweh. All right. And salvation is for you. Okay. But you got to receive this truth though. And it's kind of hard right now in the condition you're in. But you remember, you got to remember what you can, brother. Okay. You're an Israelite.
Catholicism stole that from you.
You're an
The
Israelite.
Catholic Church, that move you was making,
You know, so
yeah, they stole that heritage from you. Catholicism stole that from your people, man. You're not a Catholic. We're not Catholic.
Yeah. So we ain't doing all that
That
madness.
sign of the cross is Roman
that's pretty wise.
bullshit. There's no other way to put it.
No, well, you gotta understand. So like in the cross, that was the instrument that was used to crucify our Savior.
Right.
They murdered him on that. Now, if somebody you know gets shot with a gun, are you gonna have a chain with a gun on it to hold him? I mean, to remember him by? No. That's a graven image. Okay,
It's
so
like every time you look at something, I always think that everything quick and everything too. Like a lot of people, I see people when they came out, they want to shoot me, everything. That one, stuff like that, shit and everything too.
all right, we'll
I already
just
shot like,
okay. All right, we'll just listen up.
shot like fucking like,
Right.
like 4
Gotcha.
times and shit too.
Right.
Trying to kill me.
Well, be thankful to the Lord that you're still here, and you're able to hear this message. Okay, just listen up.
They
Okay.
give it a chance to repent.
Right. We want to finish this lesson. Was it what? That was it. Yeah. You got a precept? Okay, go ahead.
This is Revelation chapter 13, verse 10. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword.
Right.
Here is the patience and the faith of the saints.
Right. You don't even gotta break it down, right? Those who kill with the sword, they're gonna be killed with the sword. Who did that? You gotta go back to Genesis. Okay, the blessing of the sword was given to Esau, who is the so-called white man. That's what he's done. He's destroyed with the sword. To this day, he still does it. Okay, our people.
And he mocks at you. You stole your land, killed your people, gave them the smallpox, the common cold, and he mocks at you. He claims this land belongs to him, and he knows damn well it doesn't. He'll tell you in a heartbeat he's fighting for his land, but it ain't his land. He'll tell you to go home. Go back where you came from. You're like, but dude, you showed up with my stuff. You know?
You gotta hear it.
This is the book of Lamentations, chapter 4, verse 21. Rejoice and be glad, O daughter of Edom.
Right, be glad, live it up. And you're in your rulership. Daughter of Edom. You so-called white people. Edomites. You know?
That dwellest in the land of Uz.
Right? Uz was another capital city of Edom. But now that represents right here in America, Babylon the Great. You know what?
The cup also shall pass through unto thee.
So the cup, that cup of destruction, the cup of slavery. Okay, but you're gonna get it like it was earlier, Revelation 18, pay unto her double. Okay, you're gonna get it double, man. Keep going.
Thou shalt be drunken and shalt make thyself naked.
Right, and that's what's happening now. Make yourself naked. You're being exposed for who the devil you are. Okay, these other nations are exposing you. You're being exposed by the prophets, by the ministry of the prophets. okay, telling the people, hey, you're the devil that the Bible speaks about, okay? And recompense is coming to you. You're not going to get away with what you've done.
The punishment of thine iniquity is accomplished, O daughter of Zion.
Right. And that we're almost there. The punishment of our iniquity is almost here, man. Okay? And we're almost done with our punishment. Lord's will, we're in that time. We believe it so. You know?
He will no more carry thee away into captivity.
No, we're not going to be in your hands anymore. Okay? Once the kingdom is established, okay, we're going to be what? The head and not the tail. Okay, you're going to be the tail. You're going to be at the bottom. You know?
It says he will visit thine iniquity, O daughter of Edom.
Right.
He will discover thy sins.
Discover their sins. Everything that you've done is coming out. Who you are. Again, the devil that the Bible speaks about. All right? And we're not going to be in your hands anymore. Okay. Nahum 1 or 9.
Nahum chapter 1, verse 1, chapter 9, and it reads, chapter 1, verse 9. What do ye imagine against Yahweh? He will make an utter end.
Right, an utter end. Destruction is coming to you. Keep going.
Affliction shall not rise up the second time.
Affliction shall not rise up a second time. We're not going to be in your hands anymore. You're not going to raise back up and put us in captivity again. No. Once you go down, okay, like the brother read earlier, what the kingdoms of this world have become the kingdoms of our anointing and of our power and his anointing, okay, which is Yahweh Shai, okay? This is coming for the nation of Israel, beginning with the elect. And you're not going to put your hands on us anymore. Okay? We're not going to be in your hands again. Okay?
It's kind of work the same thing and everything, you know, but it works the same thing like that.
It's going to be a trading of places.
You can hear and everything too,
Yeah.
but you can hear all things do the same thing they want to do. Like that. I don't want that shit to do the thing. It's all right, I don't need that anymore. I'm old to
Yeah, just listen. Isaiah 51, verse 20.
Okay. Isaiah chapter 51, verse 21. Therefore, hear now this, thou afflicted and drunken, but not with
And
wine.
who's that? Drunken with not with wine. Okay, drunken with the philosophies, okay, of the world. Drunken with the Babylon juice, that funky wine. Keep going.
Thus saith thy Lord, the Lord and thy power that pleadeth the cause of his people.
Right.
Behold, I have taken out of thine hand the cup of trembling.
Right, the cup of trembling, that cup. The Lord's getting ready to get us out of this captivity. Keep going.
Even the dregs of the cup of my fury,
Right.
thou shalt no more drink it again.
No more drinking again. And once the Lord redeems us, we're never going to have to go before we've gone through. Keep going.
It says, but I will put into the hand of them that afflict thee.
Right, put it into the hand of them that afflict thee. Okay? Beginning with Esau and the rest of these nations. Like the scripture of Jeremiah 30 and 16. Every one of them shall go into captivity. Every one of them.
It says, which have said to thy soul, bow down that we may go over, and thou hast laid thy body as the ground and as the street of them that went over.
Right. They walked all over us. Yeah, they walked all over us. Again, and had no mercy upon us.
Psalm 75, verse 6, and it reads, for promotion cometh neither from the east,
Right.
nor from the west,
Right.
nor from the south. But the Most High is the judge.
Right.
He putteth down one and setteth up another.
Right. That's why your kingdom is getting ready to go down, Esau. Okay. And that's why you were given this rulership. Okay. But it's getting ready to come to an end. Okay. And guess what? Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that follow it. Keep going.
For in the hand of Yahweh
Right.
there is a cup,
Right.
and the wine is red.
Right.
It is full of mixture, and he poureth it out of the same. But the dregs thereof, all the wicked of the earth shall wring them out and drink them.
Right, all the wicked of the earth. Okay, beginning with the wicked, okay, which is Esau, the so-called white man, okay, these other nations, okay, because there's no salvation for them. Jeremiah 3 and 23, okay, there's no salvation for these other nations. They seek it in vain. So they're numbered with the wicked. And even 2/3 of our people, man, they're wicked as all hell. Okay, they're gonna have to what? Take part in that destruction. But the Lord's gonna have mercy upon Israel. Okay, what did it say? Isaiah 14:1. Yet I will choose Israel. Okay, so hey, that's the mercy of Yahweh Shem Shai. That if you don't make it on this side, you're gonna come back. But it's gonna be a brutal punishment. Okay, we don't want to take part in that. We don't want to die here with the damn heathen. Okay? But that cup, okay, is gonna go into what? Into the hands of what? Our oppressor, Esau, okay, and these other nations. Yeah.
But I will declare forever.
Right.
I will sing praises to the power of Jacob.
Right.
All the horns of the wicked also will I cut off.
All the power. So they're in that power seat. So all the power of the wicked will be cut off. No more rulership for you, Esau. Okay, right now Esau is in the rulership. Okay, but these other nations too. Okay, you're not gonna have any type of joint rulership. You're not gonna have anything. Okay, you're gonna be in subjection, okay, to Israel, the Israelites.
But the horns of the righteous shall be exalted.
The horns of the power of the righteous, okay, which is the Israelites. Okay, beginning with the elect. We'll close out with this. Luke 4:24, read 25 too. Unless everybody's got anything else.
This is the book of Baruch, chapter 4, verse 24. Like as now the neighbors of Zion have seen your captivity, so
Right.
shall they shortly see your salvation
Right.
from our God,
Right,
which shall come upon you with great glory and brightness of the everlasting.
right. They seen us in this position we're in, okay? But just as they seen us in this position we're in, they're gonna see what? Our salvation, man. We read earlier, the enemies beheld us. Okay? Wisdom of Solomon was at 5:1. The enemies, the strangers of our salvation, man. Okay? That's what's coming. Why? Because we're gonna go up in chariots. When the world calls UFOs or UAPs, that's gonna deliver us. Okay? That's the vehicles for the angels. Okay? We're gonna go in that great chariot, okay, for deliverance.
Yep. Verse 25. My children suffer patiently.
Suffer patiently. And we gotta wait, man. And we gotta suffer. The Lord suffered. The scripture says a servant is not above his master. Okay, the Lord went through a lot of suffering. And we gotta go through it too. Okay?
My children suffer patiently the wrath that has come upon you from
Right.
the Most High.
It came from Yahweh Ba'Shem Yehoshua. He put this hell upon us. Okay? Why? For good reason. We're going off. Okay, worshiping idols. Okay, gods that are now no gods at all. Keep going.
It says, for thine enemy hath persecuted thee,
Right.
but shortly thou shalt see his destruction,
Yep.
and shalt tread upon his neck.
Tread upon his neck. And that's going to be literal, man. We're going to have our foot upon this damn devil's neck and these other nations. Okay? Yeah, man, go. Remember, you're an Israelite. Don't forget that. Okay? Don't do that. Just receive it and pray, man. Okay? In the name of the Father, Yahweh. The name of the Son, Yahweh Shai. Okay?
Do that neither.
All right, brothers. You guys got anything else? All right, Lord willing, this lesson was edifying. You know, it's going to be a treading of places. Right now, these devils, they're in rulership, but soon come to be, okay, it's going to be all flipped around. Again, Lord willing, it was edifying. We're going to end off by giving all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'Shem Yehoshua, Ba'Shem Kadosh. Double honors to the apostles and to the elders of the millstone, from which you learned was true. Peace and blessings to the house of David, doing his work in all righteousness, truth, and sincerity. And we want to say shalom to the hopeful elect. Shalom.
Shalom.
Man, that guy was drunk as hell.
Yeah,